Episode 7. Lost with All Hands. The Hinterlight exhales, glow globes flicker, lumen strips fade, and the background hum of the air system stutters to silence. The air warms, then stills. In Kai's skull, a constant presence suddenly vanishes, Ravenor's presence, gone like a wire cut. Metal sighs. Mag locks disengage with a deep, patient slunk. All the hatches on the deck gape open at once. "Come with me," Kiss whispers. Zale doesn't argue. He grips her hand too hard, silent except for the sharp, wet sound of his breathing. She leads by touch and sweeping the corridor ahead with her telekinesis, tugging him through blind humidity. Emergency power crashes in, a pallid, cold green. Pumps cough, air stirs. The ship breathes again, but wrong. Zale continues to mutter, "It's a trap." "Yeah," Kais answers, "but not ours." He hesitates. "Nov said it was. Said Kinski was part of it." Keese stops long enough to look at him. The boy's eyes are wet. She crouches, hugs him despite herself. His hair smells like sweat and iron. "Listen, she came back to warn you. She wants you alive. That's why she fought so hard to reach you." "You think so?" he sobs. "I know so. Now, what else did she say?" He swallows hard. "She said they'd be coming through the front door." Downship, the airgate yawns open. The airgate swallows Fever and his squad 11 strong. Hoods pulled back, stormcoats stripped away to reveal heavy camo plates studded with teeth, scalps, and claws. Trophy men. Game hunters turned soldiers, each shouldering long-lasts, auto rifles or auto cannons with casual pride. "This is Sko," he voxes. "Madsen here. Welcome aboard. Bridge locked down, inquisitor nullified. 3 prisoners secure. Sweep the decks, round up the crew." "How many?" 49, mostly juniors. Be sure to find the navigator. Oh, and 2 females. Patience Kais the Telekine, Karaswol the acrobat. Neither should trouble you." Sko grins, locking a custom longlass into his gloves. "Piece of cake. Seal the gate. Sko out." The inner hatch thunders shut. The hunters split, boots whispering on decking, skull drones humming loose, predators in their chosen maze. In a service bay deep within the ship, Keese moves quickly with Zale close behind. Rows of cradled servitors hang slack, steel and flesh dormant under red deactivation runes. Chains sway from overhead tracks. The bay stinks of oil and cold iron. Kais nudges Zale off the main deck. They press into shadow between a hulking monotask and the wall. A deer skull drone floats in, eye sockets glowing red. A hunter follows, rifle at hip, steps silent despite armor weight. The drone drifts, nosing the dark. It swivels toward the far side, and the boy cowers tighter against Kais. A junior engineerium adept bolts from cover, panic too loud. The drone locks on. The shot throws him off his feet, and the hunter follows with a second round straight to the head. Cruel, professional, final. A game kill. Zale jerks. The drone pivots toward their shadow. Kais clenches chains above into a violent clang. Metal screams. The drone veers. Hunter sprays shots upward. For a moment they wait, tense in silence, before the pair move on. Firetide flashes white across the bridge's glass steel, distorting the displays. Lucinda Madsen sits cool in the command throne of the bridge. Every system bent to her countermand. Beside her, Hallstrom's hands jerk across the helm, his face twitching with effort. Kinski rides him from within, brute force possession, no finesse, just psychic strangling. Hallstrom fights, so that every key press drags like through tar. Behind them, a henobarb tends Kinski's limp body, dabbing sweat from his brow like a nurse. The giant never blinks, always guarding. Thonius lies against the deck, face bruised, arm screaming. He stares at Ravenor's chair, the nullifier bolted to its casing like a barnacle. He imagines ripping it off. Every scenario ends with him dead. "Don't even think about it," Madsen says, eyes still on her board. She knows him too well. Bonner's Reach. A vault of stone and void shields, Firetide staining the lagoon beyond like molten glass. Fernan Sko marches Nail, Zeph, and Priest aboard a bulk lifter. Gorgie, the checkered brute Nail bloodied earlier, snarls promises of payback, while Verlaine watches in silence from his blue helm, professional and unmoved. Kara Swole watches from the gallery as the vault seals and the last clean options vanish with it. Above the bulk lifter, 2 prospector pods sit forgotten on their clamps. Single-man mining coffins meant for short hops and shorter lives. One still holds a vac suit, rotted seams, scratched visor, 30% air, a margin measured in breaths. She doesn't hesitate. Kara slips into the pod already bolted to the lifter and straps her pack tight. As the machine lurches into motion, she mag-locks the pod for transit, her teeth chattering as the temperature drops. When the void shields cycle for loading, the bulk lifter will return to the Hinterlight. Kara will be inside the prospector pod when it does. The Hinterlight powers up slow and vast, engines kindling as it prepares to lift, Firetide burning behind it across the lagoon. Below, the bulk lifter carrying Nail, Priest, and Zeph drives hard for the port hangar, its guidance system slaved to the docking strobes. On the bridge, Hallstrom sweats under Kinski's psychic yoke, his hands moving slowly and shakily across the helm. Madsen leans in close, fingers sure on her code slate, eyes never leaving the readouts. The Vox crackles. Feversko's voice arrives, clipped and sure. 46 crew secured, including the navigator, no sign of the women or the boy. Madsen's mouth hardens. "Then hunt tighter." The lifter lands in vapor hiss. 2 flight crew spill out, rushing to turnaround prep. The prisoners march down the ramp, hunters flanking. Gorgie presses his snub to Nail's forehead. "Soon as I get the nod, I'll—" "Improve your face?" Nail mutters. Gorgie snaps forward, rage finally spilling over. He doesn't finish the step. 2 sharp cracks tear the air apart. Gorgie's head bursts into pink mist. The hangar erupts. From high on the lifter's roof, Kara Swole unloads both autos, brass pouring like rain, muzzles hammering flame. Her shots rake the deck, chew sparks from bulkheads, and pin the hunters where they stand. Verlaine staggers under the barrage, blue battle plate ringing with every impact. He steadies, visor glowing, and lashes back with precise lass fire. Bolts slice the air, scorching plating around Kara's boots. The 2 flight crews scramble from their consoles, drawing snub-nosed pistols. Kara pivots, drops one in a 3-round burst, cuts the other down as he levels his gun. They hit the deck in a tumble of limbs and sparks. In the panic, Nail drives his shoulder into Fernan Sko, slamming him down. But cuffed, he's clumsy. Sko recovers, plants a boot on Nail's chain, pistol muzzle digging into his eye. "Kara!" Priest screams. One of Kara's pistols arcs through the air. Zeph, still bound, snatches it mid-spin, pivots smooth, and fires once. The shot punches through Sko's chest plate, heart, and spine. He collapses against the lifter's landing leg, dead before he hits the ground. Kara's remaining autogun locks on Verlaine. A final shot burns through his visor in a white flare. He topples, armor ringing one last time as he hits the deck. Silence crashes down. thicker than smoke. Niall rips the mag key from Sko's corpse, frees his cuffs, and arms himself. Kara drops from the roof, thigh bleeding, face raw with cold, grin crooked. Glad you made it. Not the easiest ride, she says. Priest hugs her, brittle. Thought we'd die. Kara smiles. Not with these bastards. Zeph shrugs. I thought we would. I had a plan, Nail grumbles. Sure you did, Zeph deadpans. Deck 2, green ox light. Priest guides them to a diagnostic drum, removes her earrings, secret command interface studs, not jewelry, and slots them into the access sockets. The console hums awake. They've shut primaries, forced my darling onto OOX, locked it with my own back door. Clever bastards. Can you break it? Nail asks. Of course, but not here. Deck 6, stern, secondary cogitator behind the drives. I'll undo their little trick. Zeph, escort the mistress. What about you? Me and Kara stick to the plan. Kill 'em all? Kara says. Kill 'em all. Low corridors creak with strain as the ship noses gravity well exit. Zale taps his head. We're going to space. You can't know that, Kiss replies with half a smile that doesn't reach her voice. I just hear it. Words I shouldn't know. He shivers as if the phrase has crawled under his skin. Kais watches him a beat, the boy's fear, the crackle of whatever Nova left behind, and makes a decision the way you draw a blade, clean and fast. Engineerium, she says. The word tastes like oil and hot metal. If we can't take the ship back, we'll make sure they can't use it. She checks her borrowed pistol by feel, fingertips brushing leather and cold steel. Around them the corridor hums and the ship flexes, chains clink somewhere aft. Zale nods, trusting without fully understanding, and they move into the shadowed ribs of the vessel toward the engines. In a small cargo bay, the crew are herded together, 40 frightened faces pressed into a space meant for freight. They look at Thonius when he's shoved in among them, not because he's strong, because they know who he is. A hunter binds his remaining arm with quick, indifferent motions. Thonius barely feels it. The others keep watching him, waiting, as if he might speak, as if the man who asks questions for Ravenor might still have words that matter. He doesn't. Thonius lowers his eyes. I'm not that brave, he whispers, and hates himself for how easily the truth comes. On the bridge, Dubo is shoved forward, newly freed and barely steady on his feet. His eyes are bloodshot, his movements jittered, as if parts of him are still misfiring. Madsen stands close enough that he can't pretend she isn't there. He spits bile at her feet. You fried my mind. Madsen doesn't flinch. We had to, every one of you, to keep Ravenor blind. Contract 13 is all that mattered. Dubo laughs once, sharp and broken. Sko watches it with open irritation, pride visibly dented. He snaps his fingers. Enough. 2 women, 1 boy, bonus for each head. His hunters nod, releasing cyber drones that spill into the ship, humming like angry insects as they scatter. Sko turns back once. Put the cripple in his own hold, he adds. Let him die alone. Ravenor has been locked away in a sealed hold, a space stripped down to function and restraint. His chair rests alone at its center. The nullifier lamp blinks steady, patient, indifferent. Dubo staggers in with a boarding axe, froth on his breath. This is all you. You ruined me. Payback time. He swings, Sparks fly from the impact point. Swings again. The chair slides frictionless until he kicks it against the wall and hammers and hammers and hammers, voice cracking with rage, tears, laughter, spit. "Do you hear me in there, you bastard?" Blow after blow, nothing but shallow dents. "I'm going to get in there and smash your crippled body to a bloody pulp." The Firetide storm climbs white outside. Inside, every sound narrows to steel on steel, breath ragged, and a blinking red light